Wake up to a cloudy day, dark rolls in and it starts to rain. Staring out to the cage like walls, time goes by and the shadows crawl. Crushing candy, crushing pills, got no job, my pays my bills. Texting exes, get my feels, sweating bullets, Netflix chills. World's out there singing the blues, 20 more dead in the evening news. Think to myself, really what's the use? I'm just like you, I was born to lose. Why can't it just fix me? When all I want to feel numb, but the medication's all gone. Why, oh why does God hate me? When all I want to get high and forget this so-called life. I am so freaking bored, nothing to do today. I guess I'll sit around and medicate. I am so freaking bored, nothing to do today. I guess I'll sit around and medicate. Can't wait to feel better than I ever will. Tack that shit like a kid on Benadryl. Chase it down with a hopeful smile. Hate myself, I can go for miles. They say family's all you need. Someone to trust can help you breathe. Hail that drug, but you start to choke. You fall on the outs of an inside joke. Why, oh why can't you just fix me? When all I want to feel numb, but the medication's all gone. Why, oh why does God hate me? Cause I've seen enough of it, heard enough of it, felt enough of it, had enough of it. I am so freaking bored, nothing to do today. I guess I'll sit around and medicate. I am so freaking bored, nothing to do today. I guess I'll sit around and medicate. Superman is a hero, but only when his mind is clear though. He needs that fix like the rest of us, so he's got no fear when he saves that bus. All the stars in the Hollywood Hills, Snapchat live when they pop them pills. All those flavors of the rainbow, too bad that shit don't work though. Your friends are high right now, your parents are high right now. That hot chick's high right now, that cop is high right now. The president's high right now, your priest is high right now. Everyone's high as fuck right now and no one's ever coming down. I am so freaking bored, nothing to do today. I guess I'll sit around and medicate. I am so freaking bored, nothing to do today. I guess I'll sit around and medicate.
Hey, what's up everyone? Happy Easter. A little audio check before we get started. Let me know. And yeah, we're looking to do about an hour tonight. Something like that, maybe an hour and a half, depending on how everything goes. I know we're waiting for a delay here. Audio check. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Okay, cool. Okay. All right. Well, welcome to the live stream. I think this is number 12, and it is Easter. So I'm sure people are spending time with probably the family that they're living with, that they've been spending time with consistently. I doubt anybody's taking any trips, but hopefully you guys had a good day. I guess I can start off with a story today before we get into everything. So I actually broke one of my low boys 2 days ago. It's on the grow out system. It's actually the left one. So I was moving some boxes around underneath where the plumbing is, and it's kind of in a rush, being a little impatient. So I was throwing stuff around, and I ended up hitting the plumbing on the return line, and it cracked the back of the tank. And now it didn't leak or anything. I let it run for a couple days because I had to go pick up another low boy, and then of course I actually found some bulkheads here that I had in stock already, which was nice, or just left over. So I freaking, I can't believe I broke that low boy. I finally swapped it out today. It took me like 4.5 hours. It was nuts because I had to figure out how to do the plumbing again with it against the wall, which really wasn't too bad. It was just more just time consuming. But yeah, so I'm glad that this will be the last setup that I have that will have low boys in it at all. If you've been here for a while, you know that I've broken a lot of them. I started getting them back when the 125, when I took that system apart and started fragging it up. I bought 2 of them and I broke 2 of them in that process. And then I broke some when I was moving here. And then I broke some when I was installing the 2 additional ones. I mean, I probably broke 6 or 7 of them so far in just the last 3 years. So, yeah, it's cool. But yeah, I did get the water line to match, Jason, which was pretty nice. I finally got to put the, I got the, line up the overflows. Well, they're pretty close. I mean, it's like a millimeter or 2 off, but I'm not going to sweat that because, well, if I do, I'm going to go insane. So it's not that bad, but yeah, the process sucked because you guys know I started removing the red Monty cap. If you're following me on Instagram, you know that I removed the Monty cap and started fragging that up. I probably have made 200 frags so far of it, and there's still a bunch of it. But I started filling that low boy up with frags, and it was pretty much full on those egg crate racks that I made the other day, and it sucked. I mean, I had to find a place for all those corals for the whole time. What's good is I had built-in ball valves so I could swap out the tanks, and I had the flow turned off and everything so I could keep the system running, which was good. But burping here. But yeah, so that was my day. Yeah, and I think one of my 3D printers is down. It's been having a hard time printing all day for some reason. I mean, I haven't turned it off, and it's the second one I ever bought. I haven't turned it off in probably a month. So. But yeah, so I guess we can get started on the questions, the Q&A, now that I'm done rambling. So we're going to be kind of lax today. Some of you guys are saying I was all hyped up last week, but I was just, we all have our days, right? So I was just kind of in a mood. It happens, man. It happens more often than I like to admit, but I was in a mood. So we got our first question here, our first super chat from Chris here. Oh, happy Easter. Can you give a shout out to my wife, Dominique? She dressed up as the Easter bunny today. She's here watching me with the hope with me. Hope you all are doing good. Well, stay safe. Hey, sorry about mumbling that, man. I just started my tea, which is not the detox tea today. So I'm waiting for the caffeine to kick in so I can get through. I almost called this stream off because I was about 20 minutes ago, I was sitting at my desk going, uh-oh, I got some stuff going on here soon. I better wake up. But happy Easter. Appreciate the super chat for sure. So let me scroll up here and see if I missed any questions. Put in the chat what you had for Easter dinner. Scott, you can go ahead and do it because I know Scott had some good food today, if he's eaten it yet. So you guys put in what you had for Easter dinner. What did I have? I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but on homemade raisin bread. So yeah, that's my Easter dinner today. We just haven't been busy, man. So, all right. So let's see what we got here. Did I miss any questions? Let me get all the way up here. All right. Let's see here. Nope, none there. All right, here we go. Okay. Question. I have my rock clear of I have my rock clear of my wall, but I have an acro colony going crazy. Trim it or let it grow in the back wall. Just let it grow. I have a couple here that are touching the back wall, and it won't grow on the wall. It will touch it, and then it will just start growing upward. I doubt that it's going to attach itself to the wall. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I guess in time, anything could grow in the back wall, but I would just leave it. If you like the look, doesn't really matter. Ooh, let's see here. Water line. Yes, I matched that. So I moved my monitors around so I could do a little bit of gaming. So I have them stacked right now. So I have, instead of them being side by side, I have them stacked. So now I have to kind of rotate my mic a little bit so I can see the chat and everything. All right, Fish of Hex. Have you ever had to deal with the flatworms that eat the mucus on the mushroom and soft corals? Thanks for any help. Not that particular type. The only flatworms I've ever dealt with are the red. I guess it's P something, I believe. and I just removed them with a RAS and with flatworm exit. Just make sure when you do that, you have carbon on standby and all that good stuff, because you don't want to be killing a lot of flatworms. Your best bet is if you can see them, try to siphon them out before you start going ham on them with any kind of chemicals, because once they die, they release toxins into the tank. But I would I'd get on that real quick. I mean, if they're eating, they're eating soft corals. Like I said, I haven't dealt with too many flatworms except for the one that I just mentioned. So, I mean, there might be a species that eats mushrooms and soft corals. I've never personally dealt with it. All right. Hey, Travis, how do I contact you about the price and design of a printing NEM guard for the Jabo SCW? Can't find them online. All right. So when it comes to that, I'm getting a lot of requests for that Jabo SLW20. If you guys want me to make one of you guys are going to have to send me the pump. We can get together and come up with shipping and stuff, but you got to send me the pump so I can design it perfectly, and then I'll send you a NEM guard for free, just for the sake of letting me use your pump, because I'm not buying the pump. It's like 60 some odd bucks. I'm not going to buy it to just make a NEM guard and then have it sitting here. I'm not going to use it. So, if you want that made, you're going to have to send me your pump. Other than that, I'm not going to really mess with it. I got so much going on with 3D printing. I mean, I don't know. I have a stack here. There's probably 40 orders of 3D printing just sitting on my desk that I got 4 printers. Now I got 3 because I got to figure out what the hell's going on with the one, but it's backed up. So, I mean, side projects are just not really much that I can do right now. But again, if you send me your pump, I will go out of my way to get it done right there and then I'll put it up for market or for sale. But yeah, so that's the process, Dan. You can email me, fishofhex@gmail.com. And speaking of that, the bottom here, I put a promo code up. I'm going to try to do different percentages for you guys who watch the stream. So there's 10% off. Use the promo code Q&A12 and expires at midnight. So you get 10% off your order for anybody who likes to support the channel. I'll give you a little bit of support on my end for watching the live stream. And I'll probably do something like that every week. We'll see how it turns out. All right, let's go here. Hi, Travis. Happy Easter. I started dosing your NO3. Is it normal to get brown film on the glass more than normal? Yeah. I mean, if you're starting the dose, you're probably gonna. There's gonna be changes in the tank. It depends on how your system is in the first place. I'm assuming you're dosing because you have really low nutrients. So the brown film is usually dino. In most cases, when I see a brown film, it's usually dino. If it's algae, allergies, man. Speaking of allergies, fuck, man, they're kicking my ass today. But I'm not gonna go off on that. But yeah, usually the algae on the inside of a tank is usually gonna be like a greenish color. It can be a little brown, but most of the time when it's kind of a brown film, it's usually dino. At least in my instance, that's what I've realized, or at least I've seen in my experience. So I would just keep dosing, keep an eye on your water parameters, and thanks for supporting the channel by purchasing that. Next question. Hey, man, Kessel A360X fell into my tank. Ugh, that sucks. Hopefully no one got zapped. It was still on, turned off my Apex outlet, unplugged, removed, rinsed, and lots of RO, okay, RODI, disassembled, air dried with a fan, reassembles, and it don't work completely normal. Air dried with fan, reassembled, and it works completely normal. Well, good for you, man. That's nuts. I'm glad no one got zapped. I mean, I wonder because I know with drones you can put a coating over the PCB board. It's like a clear coating, so you can kind of get away with flying in not such great weather. And if you dump it in some wet grass, it doesn't burn out the PCB board. I wonder if these higher end lights, especially Kessel and stuff, if they're dipping their PCB boards in this type of film to make them somewhat waterproof. I mean, it would make sense because it's pretty cheap to do that. So I wonder. That's something I want to look into. But the fact that you dropped it in your tank and it still works makes me think that they might be doing something like that, unless they're isolating the PCB board by itself. I never took one apart, so I don't know what it looks like on the inside. But yeah, so good for you, man, because I'd hate to have to buy another one of those. Let's move to the next question. Mike Lemming's in the house. Speaking of Mike Lemming, I've been wondering what happened. Hopefully you didn't get COVID, bro, because you haven't put any live streams up in like a month. I usually come and harass you and bother you and stuff during those. So hopefully you're all good. I don't see any more discussion from you, so hopefully you're still here. All right, moving down. Steven, I have cycled my tank and did a water change yesterday. Should I wait a few weeks and put water in the quarantine tank? Do I put cleanup crew in or fish first? Okay, so I cycled my tank and did a water change yesterday. Okay. Should I wait a few weeks to put water in a quarantine tank, or do I pick up a cleanup crew and fish first? Okay, so you're going to want to get your quarantine tank up and running, so you can move some water from that cycled tank to your quarantine tank, and give that a week or so, depending on. I mean, if you just cycled, you got to kind of see where you're at on that, but and then you might want to consider doing. Well, you can't do really cleanup crew and fish in the same tank if you're going to use copper, so keep that in mind. But I guess starting the fish quarantine would be my recommendation. Just go ahead and kind of get that process going, and then do a separate tank if you can for cleanup crew. Unless you don't want to use copper with your fish, then you can put cleanup crew in there. But just remember, if you put copper in there, that you can't put any cleanup crew. So that's what I would do first. And ideally, when you're setting up a new tank, it's almost, I mean, for the sake of getting things done at one time, usually people will set up a quarantine tank while they're curing their rock. That way you're going through the whole 2 months, 3 months of curing your rock. And then that whole time you could be quarantining fish and getting them ready to go into the display once it's up and cycled. So a lot of people do that. I mean, it's up to you if you really want to, invest the money in those tanks. You're going to do it anyway, so you might as well kind of save the time and do it at the same time. Okay. Hi, Travis. When you first started with acros, how did you go about it? I just bought them and put them in my tank. I guess my first time with acros was in the 125, and I was successful with regular SPS. So I was good with Bird's Nest, Montes, and Digis, and Style 4s and stuff. So I was successful with that. So I was like, hey, I'll just give some acros a try, and I just bought some cheaper ones. Just basic $20, $30 acros, nothing crazy, because I didn't know how it was going to turn out. And luck has it, here we are. So it turned out pretty good, actually. So I would say don't spend a lot of money on high-end stuff. Get something that's grown in a tank already. Don't buy anything that's pulled from the ocean, because it's already going to be super sensitive. And start off cheap, see how it does. Next question: should I be worried I rinsed it? Oh, this back to the Kessel. Should I be worried if I rinsed it in the best I could avoid effects of salt damage? The fact that it's not dead, I think you've already avoided a lot of the issues. What I would do is every once in a while, I know that they got air gaps in it. Go ahead and take some canned air, and it's going to dry. Salt's going to dry onto the board maybe, and then just get in there with some canned air and spray it off with that, or blow it off with that. I wouldn't worry about rinsing it with any more water. I would just keep water away from it. You got lucky to this point. I wouldn't introduce any more to the equation. And you should be good to go. Grab some water myself. Next question. All right. Hey, Travis, should I run a second return pump to tie in the frag tank to the main display system, or could I connect them to the manifold? Depends on what return pump you have now. Do you have it up all the way? Is it providing enough flow to the current system? If you have a pump that's overpowered for your current tank size, then yeah, you could tie it into a manifold. But if you're struggling to get enough flow through it now to your reactors and your main display, then no. I wouldn't use that pump. I would add a secondary pump. Basically, here with the 300, I added the 40-gallon and the first lowboy with my current pump. So the DCS 12,000. Yeah, I think it's a 12,000. Yeah. And it powered the 300, the calcium reactor, the UV sterilizer, the refugium, and of course, those two tanks. No problem. But when I added these two more lowboys for the grow out system, I had to add a separate pump. And at that point, I actually put all the other tanks on that one pump and left the main display with the DCS 12,000. So you just got to wait out and see how it's going to work out for you. My chair's squeaking. And no, I didn't buy a new one. Well, am I going to buy a new one? Yes, at some point. All right, Fish of Hex. What light are you using for your Chaeto? They are Reef Brights. There's like 3K and 5K, I think, on those. I know they came with the Geosump. And speaking of Chaeto, I'm actually getting it to grow back. Finally. After I killed it off and then dynoed it and killed it some more, it's finally coming back. I will say, if you guys start killing your macroalgae off, remove the dead algae, like the slimy stuff, the stuff that's just not really growing. Remove that, because it's just going to take longer for the good stuff to come back. So keep that in mind. Learned that little lesson recently. All right. Ham, smashed potatoes, green beans, rolls. Oh man, I could eat a roll right now. I'll tell you right now, is I have some crazy issues with carbohydrates in general. Like, I did keto for a couple of years. I really enjoyed it, actually, back when I was bodybuilding competition. That's before I got fat as shit. But I have a serious issue with carbohydrates like bread and stuff from the store. But I'll tell you right now, making our own bread here has been really good. I haven't had any problems, no indigestion, no bloating, nothing. So it could just be all the extra crap. I was talking to Scott about this the other day, just all the extra crap they put in the bread and stuff at the store. But man, since I've kind of moved over to our own thing here, I made some homemade pizza the other day too, which was pretty sweet. I just have a bread maker and we use it to just make dough for things, or it can make bread itself. It's pretty sweet. So, but yeah, I could definitely smash some rolls right now. Ham, smashed potatoes, corn. I'm a sweet potatoes. I like baking them in aluminum foil, leaving the skins on, and then eating them that way. Just feel a little bit better. So what you guys got for food? I'm hungry, so this is okay. Moving down. Thanks for all the support, guys. I know that I don't highlight everybody's comments, but I appreciate the support from everywhere. Next question. JR. Nice beard, man. It's good. What's the best way to get rid of flatworms? I picked up a yellow coarse wrasse. I'm picking up a yellow coarse wrasse tomorrow for my display, but the flatworms are really bad for my sump. I'm thinking about getting a flatworm exit. Well, first of all, you should quarantine that damn wrasse. I don't know where you're getting it from, unless it's like a buddy you know has got no issues, but even then I'd be a little weird. So I'd quarantine the wrasse, but I know you're trying to fix the flatworm issue. But what I would do is manually remove them, siphon them out through a water change. And even if you wanted to siphon them out through, like I'll do a video on it Monday or tomorrow, because I got orders going out tomorrow. But right now I clean detritus in the tanks by using one of my bucket filter sock holders. And you could even use that. You could just siphon them all into a filter sock, dump the 5 gallons of water back into your tank, and then just keep siphoning them over and over again, actually not even doing a water change, but removing the flatworms in the process. I mean, instead of removing detritus, you're removing flatworms. So, yeah, they're pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, so you might want to just manually remove them and then get some carbon ready and get yourself some flatworm exit. I think BRS or Marine Depot, they both sell it, or even on Amazon, I think. So just do some flatworm exit. That stuff's good. I usually just start with a recommended dose, but most of the time I just throw the whole damn bottle in, when I had bigger tanks. But haven't dealt with flatworms in a while. So, yeah, the best way to deal with those in the future is to quarantine your coral or get it from a reliable source, one or the other. Ooh, I just scrolled all the way down. All right, next question. Is it possible to get rid of a tank of dinos just by dosing nitrates and phosphates at an appropriate level? Yes, you can, but if you want to increase your rate of success, you need to manually remove the dinos. Every single day, you got to get in there and you got to manually remove it, or get in there with a toothbrush or something and scrape it off the rocks, scrape it off the power heads, get it off any surface that you can see, and you got to do that every day with increasing your nutrients. But the thing is, not every dino species requires that approach. So you first need to identify what species you have, and if you, if you're in the United States, I offer a program. Dino identification with a workup plan. It's on my website. You guys can check it out. It's pretty popular. You basically send me a sample of your dino and I give you a whole workup on what you need to do to get rid of it. Again, it's pretty popular, but you don't have to do that. Just, 9 out of 10 times it's going to be something that requires increased nutrients. But if it's the species that doesn't, then you're going to have to go another route. Moving down here, trying to see what else you guys had for food. Ham, stuffing, roasted garlic, potatoes with green, onion, carrots, ginger. Oh, man. Damn. That peanut butter and jelly sucked, man, compared to that. Thanks, Chad. Appreciate it. All right. These kids streaming dinner. 3 2 is killing my stream. Yeah. I bet that's an issue now, is the internet's just kind of getting overwhelmed with everybody on. I know that mine's been pretty slow lately. So it's probably one of those things. Next question. I added a millipora and a blue tort to my tank. It's at 80 par. It came from a tank with 250 plus par. Will they be okay? Well, 80 par is not good for acropora, not those species anyways. So I would get it to at least 200. 250 to 350 is the appropriate range for SPS to photosynthesize, and it's good for the zooxanthellae. The list goes on and on and on. You really got to get it in the appropriate par. Worst case scenario, it's not going to grow and it's going to get really dark. That's about it. It could possibly die off, but usually dying off is associated with a lot of light, in a short period of time. So I would increase your par. If you're only rocking 80 par, then you should probably shouldn't be buying any SPS until you can get those levels up. Okay. Hey, Travis, hope all is well. Why do you take out nutrients and then add them back in NLPO4? You rock, bro. Okay. Well, we mean, why do I take them out? I mean, they just come out naturally through the skimming process. Macroalgae removes them. So that's just natural methods. I'm not going in there and doing anything else. I really don't even do water changes, as I mentioned before. The only time I kind of do water changes every day every time I ship coral, that water has to be replaced with salt water. So it's technically a water change, but I'm not going in there and just doing water changes like I was before. I'm shipping too much, so I can't do that. But I am using the filter sock to remove detritus. Like I said, I'll show you guys tomorrow. And then I just dump that water back into the tank, and it just removes the detritus, not the nutrients. But with the system and how powerful my skimmer is, I guess just my feeding methods in general, I have low nutrients. So I increase it with NO3 and PO4 automatically dosed every single day, and it's been pretty good with that. Yeah. Okay. So Reef and Chill, the answer to here, they are usually waterproof. That's some good luck. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That was back to the A360X. I have a Monty Cap and Digi about to grow into each other. Should I prune or let it be? It's up to you. It's up to you. If I had this tank and I wasn't using it as a business, and I, just by selling the coral, then I would just let things grow and let nature do its own thing. But that's what I would do if you don't plan on selling any of this stuff. But if you want to make some extra cash and you have the ability to do that, then I would trim whatever one you don't want to grow that way. Digis are pretty resilient. So isn't the Monty. So I guess it just depends on what one you like the most. But yeah, for me, I guess whenever anything's getting close, I just trim it for the sake of continually having frags available. It's your call on that one. Let's see what we got here. Next question. Travis, I upgraded it to a 210-gallon. Here's the list of tanks I'd like. 3 yellow, flame, fin, purple, Caribbean blue, sailfin, Achilles, blue hippo. Should I get all same size? Add them timid or aggressive. Okay. Well, when it comes to that many tanks, it would be your best bet to get them all at the same time and get them all around the same size. Put them in quarantine together so they get used to each other. Add a lot of PVC, like the 4-inch PVC, so they can hide, get away from each other, have their own little areas, and then add them at the same time. Let the pecking order go from there. If you're going to, if you can't do all those at the same time, then what I would do is just add the fish based on their facial structure. So if you got 3 yellows, add the 3 yellows and the flame fin at the same time, the sail fin at the same time, and then say the Achilles, the blue hippo, for a separate time if you have to. But try to get the same facial structure at the same time if you can, at the least, to make sure cuts down the aggression. All right, hey Travis, happy Easter. How long is the shelf life for phytoplankton? Keep it in the refrigerator or storing it? Okay, for storing it. Okay, I will have a video out in a couple weeks. I'm actually doing the test now with phytoplankton. It's actually, I have a sample of it's frozen. It's been frozen for about a week, and then I have some in the fridge that I'm shaking up every day. And it's been about a week. I did I showed the live phytoplankton the day that I pulled it out, which was I think it was the 6th or whatever. I already did the video on it, but I showed you guys what it looked like under the microscope alive and well. And then I, of course, froze some and put some in the fridge. So we're going to come back here soon. And you can, you'll see the results on that. But usually freezing it is fine. You can keep it in there for however long you want. When it's in the fridge, I like to shake it up every single day. And it usually lasts like 2 to 3 weeks. When it starts to separate and you see like chunks of it and it's just not, it's like oily substance and it just doesn't smell right, then you know that it's no good. But it also depends on how good the culture was previously. Right now, I had somebody email me. I grow a pretty thick green culture. Now I wouldn't say thick, but a dark green culture now that I have my setup the way I want and tuned in pretty good. So it's a lot darker than usual. So it's going to live longer wherever you keep, preferably keep it in the fridge. You don't want to keep it out at air temperature or room temperature. So, usually a couple weeks and a couple weeks to 3 or 4 weeks, depending on, again, how good it is in the refrigerator. Make sure you shake it every single day. Next question. Glenn, thanks for the super chat. Thoughts on the BTA in the SPS dominant tank, bubble tick anemone? Okay. 180 gallon, 50 acros, a few LPS. I have a good isolated spot for it. Nope, dude, there's no such thing as an isolated spot for a bubble tip. It's not going to happen. You can put it wherever you want. It's going to have its own mind. Most likely, it's going to prop itself next to your favorite colony and kill it. You couldn't pay me anything to put one in my main display. Wouldn't happen. Nope. You want bubble tips? Add another tank. If you love your acros, because yeah, you could pick a spot all damn day. It's not going to happen. So I would not do that. Next question. Fish of Hex, any tips to bring out the yellows in SPS? Nutrients are in check, but seemed yellows are dull and green. Okay. Make sure your lighting is good. Make sure you're not blasting it too much, or even vice versa if they're not getting enough light. So make sure you're within a par range. It doesn't hurt to sometimes if I have a yellow coral that just doesn't look the way it should, I will take a frag of it and I'll put it in a different part of the tank. So if I have one up high, I'll put it low and see if that helps. Because, I mean, you're not going to know right off the bat what that coral prefers, but it wouldn't hurt to put it in a different place in the tank and see kind of what the coloration is. Definitely check, maybe do an ICP test, make sure all your micro elements are in check. And then, if everything's good, then maybe it's just your lighting. All right. See what else we got here. What time is it? We got 0 to somewhat 20. Yeah. 17 minutes behind, something like that. That's not too bad. All right, Reef of Chill. Following up on the light that fell in my tank, motherboard and electronic components are all covered in a rubber coating. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I don't have knowledge of it, but it seems protected and pressed with Kessel. Yeah, well, I mean, how liable would they be if, say, one of their mounts didn't failed for whatever reason? The light went in there, fried all the fish, and started a fire. I mean, it'd be bad. So it can't cost very much to dip a PCB board. I mean, even the kits for the drones are almost nothing, just to cover the board with it. So yeah, it's a good move. I mean, I would definitely do that. So I'm glad they did, and now you're glad they did. All right, dosing phytoplankton, raise NO3 and PO4. Mine are both at 0. Would this keep in mind? Keep them up, or do I have to dose NO3 and PO4 and phyto? Keep them up. Okay, so you don't need phytoplankton to increase your nutrients. Does it help? Yes. Does it help with dino? Yes. I strongly believe it does. I mean, I've ridden my tank of it with the help of phytoplankton. But if you want to get rid of the dino and all that kind of stuff, then you want to keep your NO3 and PO4 up. Just dose it. Either you can dose it manually every day or every other day. Depends on your tank. Every tank is going to be different, and the demand is going to be different. So you have to kind of balance it out. I wish I had a formula that worked for everybody, but it's not possible. So, yeah. I mean, the thing with phytoplankton is it kind of gives you a false sense of increased nutrients. Because if you dose phytoplankton, say like noon, and then you test even 8 to 10 hours later, you're going to get a false reading on your PO4. It's just going to happen because it's in the water column. So, yes, it does contribute to nitrates and phosphates, but your best bet is just to dose NO3 and PO4. Knocking my bottle over here. Let's see. I missed the question. Maybe. I got to go all the way back up. Sucker. Give me a second while I find out where I was. There, we did the LPS. The board, dosing phytoplankton. Okay, tank's been up and running for a couple years, just been doing water changes. What's your opinion on what to start dosing for beginners? Well, I don't know if you need to dose. I mean, your water changes are doing good. I need more information than this. I mean, what coral do you have? What are your current levels? I mean, I can't tell you what to dose because I don't know what you're trying to strive for. I need more information, so you're gonna have to ask, add to that down in the comment section so I can try to give you more information. But I mean, if you're not able to keep up with your calcium alkalinity because your water changes just aren't doing it anymore, then yeah, you might want to start dosing 2-part or calcwasser or even add a calcium reactor. If you got a lot of corals that are dull in colors and you're trying to increase that, maybe adding some kind of Aquavita fuel or Reef Plus or something. I just need more information before I can help you out. Do you use calcium reactor and calcwasser along? What's your thoughts about it? Okay, so I did before just for an experimental purposes, and it's fine. If you want to adjust both and deal with both, and yeah, you can run calcium reactor with a calc stir. That's no problem. But understand you got to basically dial in 2 different methods of increasing your calcium alkalinity, and it just makes it more complex than it needs to be. It's good to raise the pH, but I mean, if you really care about pH, then go ahead. But for me, straight up calcium reactor, not worried about anything else. Yeah, it's just not worth it. It's not worth the stress, honestly. But if you want to piss around, yeah. I'm starting to dose 2-part. Any advice? Yes, I have a video on how to dose 2-part. The beginner guide is something. It's in a beginner guide. It's pretty popular. Watch that video. There's a lot of stuff in that video. How to get started with 2-part dosing or something like that. I don't remember, but it's a pretty good video. Shoot. Scott's answering questions here. Getting down. I'm trying to catch up. Okay. 50/50 says QT fish and do not when ick is in the system. What's your input? Okay, so 50/50 says QT fish and do not when ick is in the system. What's your thoughts? Oh, what the hell are you talking about? Quarantine your fish. 100%, I guess. I mean, I'm not really sure what you're asking here. You should be quarantining all your fish. There's no exceptions to that. Pizza for Thanksgiving and fire department. All stores are closed. Yeah, pizza would be good too. I'd eat that. Don't be a dick. Hit the thumbs up. Yeah, I didn't add that because I think my scrolling was a little too much. That's a crazy profile picture, by the way. Hopefully that's you. It's gonna be funny if it is. That shit-eating grin you got going on there. About to start trouble. Hey, thanks for the support. Appreciate it. I know that there's a lot of you guys complimenting and stuff through here. I do appreciate it. I don't highlight them all, but I do see them, so I do appreciate it. Did I say Thanksgiving? I might have. I get my holidays messed up. It's anything with food is usually, I think, Thanksgiving. Okay, let's see what we got here. Question. We are not supposed to eat meat today. At least that's what they say where I'm from. Only fish on Easter Sunday. Anyways, I made a grilled chorizo with... I like that sausage, though. Yeah, not that way. Oh, man. I got people who likes the sausage. Just moving on. Sounds delicious, though. All right. Hello. After I have ick for the second time in quarantine everything, and I don't know how to get them. How long I have to, fish free from my main display? Thank you. Okay, so once you get all the fish out of your main tank, you need to go 10 weeks, at least minimum 10 weeks without any fish. That way the parasite can go through its life cycle and be gone. But yeah, man, having to go fallow is a shitty lesson learned. There's a lot of people going through that. There's a lot of people who don't deal with it either and just kind of suck it up. But yeah, quarantining is always the quicker route, regardless. What's an affordable LED light for a reef? The Mars Aquas or the SP Reef light is pretty good. They're pretty cheap, but they all got the cheap Chinese parts in them, so you get what you pay for. That's all I'm going to say about that. I do not. I used to, but I gave them to my client because it just doesn't fit the theme. The tank is just my theme for the tank is changing. And you guys will see after I get done ripping out 7 colonies in the next couple weeks. So the videos, like I'll do, like when I do my Q&A and all sorts of shit over the next couple weeks, I'm just going to use old footage, and then I'll do our like part 2 of the 300 overhaul. I'm probably going to break it up like different like rock structures. So for part 1, I'm going to do the middle left rock structure where we're talking about the Red Monty and removing the Digi and the Panopy and the WWC and all that fragging process and replacing it with acros. That'll be like part 1. Then maybe part 2 would be the other rock structure, and then part 3 is what it looks like when it's done. It's going to look super weird. The 300 is going to be naked for a while, and that's okay. I've come to terms with it. It's good for me. It's good for kind of what I want the tank look like in the future. A lot of lessons learned. I mean, that's good with systems. Every tank we have, we learned a lesson. And I've learned that I'm not, my main displays in the future are just going to be a specific type of coral. I'm not going to be mixing it like this because these easy SPS, like the Stylos and the Monties, they just overrun everything. Makes it difficult to get it the way I want it to look. So Went off on that one with a simple question. My apologies. Let's see what we got here. Moving down. No drinking games. Not happening, guys. Man, we're already 40 minutes in. Jesus. That escalated quickly. Okay. What T5 lights do you recommend for a 4-foot tank? All right. So I use the hybrids. I forgot the brand name. Aquatic Life? Maybe that's what it is. But I use a hybrid. So I use has 4 T5 bulbs, and then I put my LEDs in between my Radions. So yeah, I just do a hybrid LED T5 fixture on my main displays anyways. All right, so when you leave your tank without fish for 10 weeks, do you lose a good bacteria? Yeah, you do lose it, but you should, if you have coral in your tank, you need to be dosing nitrates and phosphates if you go fallow. There's no exception. You have to do it. You have to add those nutrients back in, or your corals are going to go pale. It's a huge issue. So, yeah, if you got coral and you have to go fallow, you have to dose NO3 and PO4. Not really much you can do about that. Down. Scott's answering questions. He's going on today. Sorry about I didn't get any podcasts out last week. We've just been getting swamped, man. I can't get everything done. You guys know I'm shipping Mondays and Thursdays now, which you can definitely not count on a video that day unless I make it ahead of time or it's something very simple that I can do in the morning before I get started. Because basically, I gotta ship everything in 2 days now, which is very difficult actually, but I have to do it for the sake of not being exposed all the time. Sorry, my throat's getting kind of weird. I had some crazy allergies this last couple weeks. It's been nuts, man. I've been sleeping with the window open too, and all the trees are blooming out back. And I wake up, I'm like, oh god, all sucked up, man. It's awful. Hopefully that shit will get better. Okay. Adding a cycle 210 gallon to my current established SPS 100 gallon system. Do you think my current DCP 16,000 return pump will be okay? I use it to run the carbon reactor, refugium UV sterilizer. Any tips? Okay. Yeah, it might be okay. Yeah, I don't see any reason why it won't be. If you don't have a lot of flow going through your main display, you can always add more flow with power heads to kind of help the circulation. But yeah, you should be fine with that. I don't see any reason. If it's not, then consider getting another pump, but at least worth a shot before you spend the money. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I managed to get down to the bottom. I'm getting through these pretty quickly. Scott's answering a lot of questions, which is nice. Thoughts on the Max Spec Gyre pumps? Never had one. Had a buddy named Sean who had a whole bunch of them, and he broke all of them, or they kept breaking. So I never bought one just because of his experience alone. And this was, 3 years ago? So maybe they've gotten better. I don't know. But I still won't buy one just for the sake of listening to him bitch about how awful they were. I never even looked at them. Not even the Jabo version. Nope. Yo, Hex. Let me get down here. How to get rid of Aptasia. I do have a video. Just look up Fish of Hex Aptasia guide, and you should be able to find it. But there's a few methods. You can use the wand, which a lot of people don't like because they think it's going to spread the Aptasia, which I've never had that issue. But, I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. You can use the wand. You can use Aptasia X, like where you inject them. Or you can go the route of kind of spending a little bit extra money, but definitely works, is the Nudibranchs. Reef Town is where I've gotten them in the past. But they're not cheap, though. You're looking at, I don't know, I think $13 to $19, $20 a meat for medium ones, and you want to get the mediums because they usually are ready to lay eggs. And what you want is you want them to go in there, start eating the. You want to place them in the tank near the Aptasia, so they'll start chomping down, and then they'll lay their eggs, and then you have baby ones, and they'll just keep the whole process. If you got a wrasse, do not add them until it's dark, or at least all the lights are off, and the wrasse is in his sleeping area, and hope to God that he doesn't pick them off during the day while they're trying to eat. But yeah, that's what I would do. The Nudibranchs are the best approach. And if you have a ton of Aptasia, consider buying quite a few Nudibranchs. Now, the one thing that I've ran into with some people is they have maybe, I guess, a newer tank with probably like 50 or 60 pounds of rock and say a 75-gallon tank. It's not a lot of rock, and they got Aptasia everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And you have a small tank. Sometimes it's easier just to get some new rock or cheaper and longer, and get some new rock and cycle that rock, for a couple months, and then just swap out all the damn rock. Of course, clean the tank, make sure there's no more, stuck to power heads or in the crevices and stuff like that. And then, that's worked in the past as well. It just depends, because if you're spending $400 on nudibranchs, then you might consider just buying some more rock. There's other options out there. Get up here. What's the best way to get coralline algae to spread in your tank? I'm guessing that's what you meant on that. You said coral algae, so I'm guessing coralline algae. Have stable calcium alkalinity levels, and then just have it added to your tank. I'll say buy it from me, but that shit's never in stock, so don't even try. And there's like 15 people on the waiting list, so I'm sorry about that, by the way. But anyway, you just need to add it on like a snail or something like that, and keep stable alkalinity in your tank, and it will grow in time. Usually doesn't take very long. Let's see here. There we go. Somebody with some experience with the pumps. Oh, what intensity do you run your 360X, and how high from the water line? Okay, so the water line, if I had a stool, I'd definitely be able to measure it for you, but I'm going to estimate it's probably like 12 inches from the water line. I have 3 of them over a low boy, so a little overkill. And I run at 100%, and I answered this question before. I don't know the number. I guess I can look. Let me get into my phone here, see if it lets me. I gotta turn the Wi-Fi on. But so I'm running at 100%. And Kessel Wi-Fi. I'd say it's about 12 inches. Like I said, if I had a stool, I'd get up there and measure it, but I don't have it ready. Let's see. Skip this. Let me log in. Go to manual mode. All right, mode. Quick set. Possibly. All right, so during the day, so it's a color 25, so it's more of a bluer color. Intensity is 100%. My reds are 10, and my greens are 10. And that's it. That's what I run for my Kessel. Let me get this thing back to normal. Moving down. I'm planning on starting a new tank. I'm going to be quarantining everything, but my question involves the coral lighting. I plan on getting decent lights for my main, but what would you suggest doing for, I guess there's, okay, here we go. The quarantine tank, since I probably won't be able to afford another like Radeon. Okay, you can get something cheap like the Mars Aqua. I think they're like $70 a fixture on eBay. Just understand they put out a lot of light. The spectrum is so, but it's still going to work pretty good. I forgot the light that Scott had before. Ocean Revives, or I guess I don't know how cheap those are, but you could probably get a light under $100 on eBay. Just if you can measure your par, that would be good, because they can put out a lot of light real quick. It might cause some damage, so keep an eye on that. Let me get down here. I picked up a Jabo DCP 15,000. I wanted the 10,000, but only 15,000 was in stock and is overpowered for my 120. The pump is bigger than I expected. Yeah, go ahead and throw a ball valve on that and dial that down. And or you can also, I don't know if you have a manifold or whatever, you can use a ball valve to dial it down, or you can just hit the button and bring it down. But I don't know what the minimum on that is. I don't know if that's even the maximum of the 10,000. I'm not sure. I run all my pumps pretty much at 100%, at least in this particular fish room. All right. Fish of Hex. Can too many microbubbles hurt corals? Only on my acros have white tips. Okay. One of my acros has white tips. Okay, so microbubbles aren't really going to hurt your corals. I do microbubble scrubbing all the time, and there's no issues with it. Unless there's like huge air pockets getting stuck up underneath the flesh, which is not really common. If you have a lot of flow in the tank, all the microbubbles are going to get blown off anyways. If you have white tips, you probably get alkalinity spikes or dips. Can cause the white tips, or you get too much light, not enough nutrients. Those things usually play a role in the whole white tips. So I don't think it's microbubbles. Thanks for all the support, guys. Appreciate it. I've mentioned before, I am reading all the comments, and I appreciate the support for the channel. I do. I'm just not highlighting them all. To Apex or not to Apex? Apex. There you go. What can or can't Duncans touch? I got my got my printed frag rack stands. Okay, drill the hole through the top and let the air out. Works fine. Okay, yeah, I actually the new ones that I'm making now have the built-in hole and they fill up automatically. That was something I learned. Like the smaller ones were not an issue; they sunk, but the bigger ones. I have to do 100% infill, and then I have it like there's a void. They sink right down to the bottom, which is really nice. So, yeah. But anyway, what can I'm gonna turn this shit down. Put that over here. Hope it's not as loud anymore. I gotta hear my notifications. I got some coming in that I gotta get, but that's why I can't put it on silent. But what can and can't Dunkins touch? Well, they can touch each other, and they seem to be okay with SPS, depending like easy SPS, stylophores, stuff like that. No problem. Acros, I don't know. I've never put a Dunkin near an acropore. I can't tell you, but most likely it's not going to work out. Probably the acro is going to lose that battle. Usually LPS are a little bit more potent than the acropora, so I would just kind of keep it by itself if you can. I'm trying to think of the last thing I had. I had a candy cane, which is pretty close to a Dunkin. That thing killed off acropora. It killed off that tor super quick. I mean, I removed that whole colony. I finally just sold it all, which is nice. That one that, man, I just crazy amount of coral that's gone in and out of this 300. I've removed so many colonies. But yeah, I know the candy cane, man, that thing crushed my acro. I mean, that's why I took it out. It was killing acros all day long. That's why it's no longer in the tank. But Dunkin's, I don't know. I think it's gonna probably do some damage. Hey, I appreciate all the support. Really do, guys. I don't know about the best reefing channel on YouTube. I definitely am the most unique in a certain way, but that's okay. I mean, I am who I am, and I track certain people, and I like the community that I have. So, I mean, no reason to try to be anybody else. All right, let's see here. I have a new reef saver rock. I'm guessing that's what you meant. Can I cure it in just RODI, or does it needs to have salt water to cure? The curing is the process of building up that beneficial bacteria, and the beneficial bacteria that you want are the ones that live in saltwater tank, in the saltwater, like aquarium. So yeah, you got to keep it at salinity. I think the lowest I would go is 1.021, probably the lowest I would go, and then of course you got up to 1.025 or 26, but stay within that range. You definitely need salt water. Yep. Yeah, he said the Ocean Revives are 173 a light, so that might be a little too expensive for just a life or a quarantine tank. So maybe just the Aquamars, but I would consider getting the par meter to make sure you're not, putting out like 300 friggin' million par at the top of the rock or top of your frag rack. You definitely want to make sure. All right, let's see what we got here. Tony, bought my first acros from Fish Hex last week. Oh, yeah. And they did not disappoint. Color's amazing, streaming clean. Thanks, Travis. Good, strong, excellent. Oh, no problem, man. Appreciate the support on that. Sales have been really good this month. I don't know if you're all just bored. You guys are buying coral. I know that I buy stuff when I'm bored, so maybe that's what it is. But the sales have been really good. The last couple months have been extremely good. So I appreciate the support on that, especially during this time. But as I mentioned many times, if you're stressing and you ain't got money, don't be buying coral. I'd rather you go buy some food or some whatever, if you want to buy leaves or toilet paper, whatever you want, a baguette. I mean, I don't know. Spaghetti. What is it called? What's it? Bidet. I call it a baguette and a spaghetti. Okay, well, that's original. If you want to buy a bidet or whatever, I know there's one on Facebook. They were advertising. You can just put over your regular toilet lid, and you can just spray your fanny down. I'm a Facebook. I mean, not Facebook, but YouTube's blocking people's comments because they're swearing. That's a shame. Anyway, I appreciate the support, Tony. Definitely do. I will mention that I had, we're at the time of year now where before I ship to you, I kind of try to figure out what your weather is. And that determines if I'm going to put a heat pack in. It's just difficult because I have some stuff going down to Florida where it's warm. And if I put a heat pack into here and it gets there and it's warm and then it's too hot, we're just in that time of the year where it's a pain in the ass to ship. I love shipping during the winter time because I know heat pack, no problem. Right now, it's just kind of, playing games with trying to figure out what's the best route to go. And sometimes it's not always good. So yeah, sucks, but what are you going to do? Let's see what we got here. Moving down. Yawning. What we got? We're at 54 minutes. Probably do another 20 minutes, 30 minutes or so. Oh, we got a super chat. Let me see what we got here. Okay. What is cheaper? 2-part doser for a non-Apex system. What is cheaper? 2-part doser for a non? Oh, okay. Well, I would say get the Jabo, but their dosing pump has taken a huge shit lately. I'm getting a lot of complaints, especially on the video that I made where I was showing you guys how to use the pump. People are saying that it just doesn't keep programming. It's not working right. I mean, I don't know. It's a freaking manufacturing process. Just with everything, Jabo is just not good anymore. Unfortunately, when you try to make a quick buck, you cut corners. It freaking screws people over and ultimately causes you to lose money. So a cheaper dosing pump. I know that BRS has a standalone pumps that you can put on a timer. I consider doing that. Other than that, I've only used the dose before. There was one other one that I used in a refrigerator a while back, but I cannot remember the name of it to save my life. But I'll do a quick Google search on that if I were you. But I don't know. I really love the dose from the Apex. I kind of spoiled myself with that, but it's just so damn accurate and so nice. Yeah, I'd kind of avoid the cheaper dosers like the Jabo at the moment, at least from what I've heard of how it's been recently. Let's get down here. Okay. The recirculating pump on the calcium reactor, should it be more turnover or less? I don't think it really matters. I mean, as long as it's going through and mixing the water up in the media, I don't think it needs to be crazy. I don't remember even what's on my calcium reactor. I know that when they build them, they plan them accordingly to the side, but yeah, I don't really know. Really, I mean, as long as it's putting water through there and it's moving the media through efficiently, I mean, I don't see it doesn't have to be crazy. More or less reliable. That's what I would focus on, like a CJ pump, is something that's reliable. That's what I would be focusing on more than anything. But sorry, I can't give you a more accurate answer for that. Let's see what we got here. Scott's answering more questions. Okay. Tips for adding a cycle tank to a already running SPS tank. Worried, but I know I've done it before. Well, make sure that the water, I mean, you didn't say how big the tanks were or any of that stuff, but make sure that they're close in water parameters. Like one's not at like 10 freaking alkalinity, the other one's at 7. You don't want stuff like that going on. You don't want temperature differences really too much. And then, yeah, I mean, that's about the best you can do. Try to match the water parameters as close as you can. That way you cut down on fluctuations. Oop, I was scrolled all the way down. All right, for an all-in-one, would you go algae reactor or protein skimmer for nutrient export? I would do both. If I was to choose one, I would do protein skimmer, just because it's easier to maintain. You keep it clean, keep the cup clean. You can adjust it, wet skim, dry skim, depending on your nutrients and how much you want to remove. But if you have the money and the space, get both. It's pretty cool. I like the algae reactor is pretty cool, especially the DIY version. I enjoy that stuff. So, yeah, whatever works for you, man. All right. Hi, Travis. Recently started keeping SPS and so far been doing good. But what SPS would you recommend starting off with? Thanks. Okay, so you're looking at the easier SPS, Montiporas, Stylophoras, Digitatas, caps, encrusting Montes, that kind of stuff. Easy, take care of. Hydnophora is pretty good. The big green one on the middle right rock structure is good. But at that point, you need to start seeing kind of what corals get along with each other. Hydnophora is a good starter coral, but it can be very dangerous to other SPS corals. It will win every single time. So one of the main reasons why that colony is going bye-bye. Oh, as much as I'm going to miss it, I'm not. But yeah, so just get easy SPS. Those Montes and stuff, they are a great start. Bird's nests. Yeah, any of that kind of stuff will be good for you. One D head bunch, hit those thumbs up, people. Yeah, guys, hit the thumbs up, man. Need the support. Instant gratification. Yep. Trust, do you agree your French derogatory remarks, or is it? I do. Unfortunately, like, what's up, fuckers, and I have a certain personality, but usually anybody I hang out with has the same personality, so it's nothing strange. But anybody listening in and be like, "What? You guys are saying what to each other?" So, yeah, I just try to keep company close that is kind of similar to my personality. Yeah. Let's see what we got here. Hex, did you buy a Harley yet? No motorcycle. I haven't decided what I'm doing yet, but I did just buy a new a new 5-inch quad though. Oh, I posted a picture on Instagram. I broke my second micro. I can't even freaking talk today. I must be tired of shit. The Tiny Hawk 2 race 2. I broke the second one of those, man, in 2 weeks. It was actually a pretty funny story. I was out flying yesterday, or the other day, not yesterday, day before, in the wind, which is a lot windier than I thought it was. So I was cruising. The thing does like 50 miles an hour, but anyways, I had a tailwind, and it was really taily, and basically I couldn't pull out of it. It was going so fast that I couldn't get out of the wind, and I smashed right in the side of a building and just ripped the whole prop off, broke the carbon fiber. I mean, ejected the batteries. It was awful. So that one's gone. So then I came in here and I bought the Hawk Pro, the 5-inch Hawk Pro. I bought some more batteries and a new charger. So we'll see how that one goes. It's cool, but I'd rather have one that fits a GoPro a little bit better. But I mean, it's still gonna be pretty fun. But I do have my Nano, my Tiny Hawk 2, the little white one. I have that for inside, and I do like little courses inside the house, and I have some rings and stuff that I fly through. But yeah, I'm out of drone right now for outside, and it's not going to be here till like next month, so I'm pretty crapped out about that. But I just play on the simulator if I get too anxious about flying. I got into flying drones on a Harley question. Ask anybody else and see if they can do that. Nope. All right. Fish of Hex, when cranking up the intensity on the Radeons, what percentage do you bring them up weekly? Well, you might want to go probably 10% every week to start off with. That's what I would do. But usually when it comes to a system, I plan the lights out ahead of time. So if I plan I guess that's just the way I build tanks. If I'm going like for the 300, I knew I was going to have SPS. So I already have the lights cranked up all the way, and I just bought more lights as the system went on. And you guys know that it took me like 6 months to get all the lights for this thing. Lesson learned on that as well. That will be the first thing I buy on my next setup, not the last. But anyway, go up by like 10% every week, and then just keep an eye on everything. And of course, keep an eye on your alkalinity, your nutrient consumption, all that kind of stuff. Because as the lights come in, the growth can increase, and those things will go down. So let me see what we got going on here. Wait for that to come in. Is Scott talking shit in text message? Okay. All right. Thanks for the heads up on that. Text Scott. Appreciate it. I wonder who's going to take tad bits and pieces of my live stream and then try to make a video proving me wrong. I cannot believe that shit. It's one thing that I've come to realize. Once you get to a certain point in the community, everybody that hates you, their main goal is to prove you wrong or to make you look like an asshole. That's what they do. So I got a couple people here on the internet and YouTube that try to do that. It's actually quite amusing, and I enjoy that you guys do that actually. And I mean, the fact that you love me that much that you have to take pieces and take my words out of context and then try to make a video to prove me wrong, it's fucking hilarious. And I know who you guys are. I know who your friends are. I know who you talk to. You think I don't know the clicks, but I do. I see everything. I got a lot of eyes and ears, which is interesting too. But yeah, I just figured I'd bring that up because Scott just gave me a heads up on something, and I appreciate that, Scott. Oh, let's moving down. Let's see what we got going on here. Yeah, I asked myself why this fool sends it out with a heat pack. Yeah, hey, I know, man. It's just one of those things. I didn't know what was going to be good. It was cold the night that I sent it out, and I knew it was going to be hot where you're at. So I'm like, well, do I want to take a chance of it freezing while it sits at a hub here for who knows how many hours? And then, what the temperature going to be. It's just a really crappy time of year to ship, but hey, if it made it, it made it. Oh, speaking of that, oh man, I'm going to show you guys next week, but I'm all about upgrading here in the business, right? So there's two things that I do. If you order 4 or less corals, I will ship in cups with styrofoam, depending on what corals and how big they are. Right now, I ship a lot of larger corals, so I have to put them in bags. And if you order a lot of corals, I put them in bags. Now, the issue that I've had is I've been using 3-inch by 12-inch by 3 mils, and they've been pretty good. But there's every once in a while there's a coral that might poke through, or there might be an issue with it leaking with the knot. So that's the problem that I've had over, not very often. I think my DOA is like under 1%, which is, I'm pretty happy about that. But every once in a while I get somebody saying that the bag leaked, and it's either the knot at the top or one of those corals poked through it. So what I've done is I went ahead. Oh my God, this freaking thing was super expensive. I bought one of those industrial ringers. They're like professional, like they clamp down on bags and they use these rings, and it's super freaking awesome. But anyways, I bought one of those. It'll be here tomorrow. So hopefully all the orders go out tomorrow. We'll have this. But I also went ahead and bought 2 different bags. I bought the 3-inch by 12-inch by 4 mils. So it's a thicker bag. And I also went ahead and bought the 3-inch by 8-inch by 6 mils. So I have 6 mil bags, and we're going to see how those work out. I mean, you're going to have to use a freaking chainsaw to get through this bag. So for shipments coming out from this point forward, are going to be ringed. And so there won't be any leaks, no issues with that anymore, which is good. But also, they're going to be thicker bags, so there won't be, the chances of the coral poking through, or well, in the 6 mil, it's just not going to happen. I mean, you can't do that. 4 mil, it'd be highly doubtful. I don't think it's going to happen. And yeah, so I ship with cups, with styrofoam, rubber bands, or I ship in bags, depending on how big the frag is, how many you order, just depends. But I figured I'd let you guys know. I'm pretty excited. I'm going to show you guys a video about it. Not the cheapest thing I ever bought, but I know that the way I look at it right now for the business, for those of you who are looking to do business stuff, when it comes to making an investment, say the $800 that I just spent on this damn freaking ringer and staples and bags and shit. So the $800 I just spent, I have to look at it like this. Do I spend the money and increase my success and lower my DOA even more? Or do I just keep what I'm doing, and which is really successful except for that 1%, but that 1% might be a $300 frag that dies. Well, how many of those are going to die that could possibly die that could eventually add up to what I just spent to increase and upgrade the business? So that's how I look at investments in the future. So that's why I'm okay with spending that money, as long as I know that it will pay for itself. Just like these printers. I got 4 of these little jokers behind me and numerous upgrades, but I think of what that printer is going to do over its lifetime, how much money it's going to make me. So I'm okay with spending the money up front, knowing that it's going to be worth it in the end. And it surely is. Oh, yeah. So I don't know why I got on that. Thanks for going from heat packs. Okay, let's back up. I went from heat packs to shipping cups to shipping stuff to giving advice about business. Yeah. So follow that one. Nobody's doing this, man. Nobody's, and you guys are still listening, which is insane. Oh, 2 people just left. I spoke too soon. Moving down. All right. Do you have any further updates on the UV sterilizers? Did you remove the second one or replace that one you took off? Okay. So I didn't even bother hooking up the one that had the black stuff on it. I didn't even hook it back up. I threw that shit in the trash. And then the second one is still hooked up. I haven't messed with it. I'm not going to touch it. The only way I'm going to be able to get with that is if I replumb a few things, and not on the priority list right now. But I will have to change the bulb at some point. Within the next, I would say 6 months, I'm going to have to change that bulb. So yeah, I'll give you guys an update then. But I'm probably going to toss it out anyways, even though I do have a bunch of extra bulbs. Let's see what we got here. I bought a 20-gallon long on the $1 per gallon sale for my Coral QT. This tank may turn into a grow-out tank. I have AI primes on the display tank. Would one AI prime do well for this? Yeah, one AI prime. One AI prime would be fine for that. Just put it up a little bit higher so you can get a good spread. Check your power too. You should be pretty good. One AI prime shouldn't be an issue. All right. For pH purposes, do you lose the effect of running a line outside the house depending on the length you can run? No, not for me. At least not for the skimmer that I have. I run the Niles Quantum 300 that has 2 pumps sucking air in, and it's a lot of air. So it really pulls. I mean, I'm going, I must be going at least 50 feet, if not more than that, 60 feet from outside. And you can put your finger on the output or the input, and it like sucks the skin in. So those 2 pumps really do pull a lot of air. But I mean, anything's beneficial. I mean, if you're pulling fresh air in either way with some kind of filter at the end is what I would recommend. You're going to help the tank one way or another. So, do you dose the majority of your DKH during the day or less during okay, so I just run it all. It's 24 hours a day. I have the dose. Or you say DKH. Do you dose the majority of your DKH during the day or less during the dark period? Okay. All right. So I was thinking of my NO3 and PO4. Never mind. So when it comes to the DKH stuff, like the if you're dosing 2-part, you want to dose the alkalinity more at the nighttime if you want to have the increased pH. But if it was my system, just like on the 125, I dosed every hour. It was alkalinity. Every like 30 minutes later, so every half an hour, I guess later, it was calcium. And then 30 minutes later, it was alkalinity. 30 minutes later, it was calcium. And then it just did that 24 hours a day. That way I kept the tank stable throughout the whole day. So that's what I would do if it was me. But if you're looking to really kind of elevate the pH, you can just dose alkalinity at night. But yeah, it definitely helps to do it, not at the same time, but at least throughout the whole day together. How to lower my elk? Sitting at 20 DK. What the fuck? Based off the multiple hand checker testing, you're at 20 DKH. How the heck did you get a 20 DKH? Did you accidentally dump a whole freaking package of Kalkwasser powder in there or some shit? Holy crap. I've never even had that question before. How do you get the 20 DKH? Well, okay, so I'm going to assume that you overdosed because I've never heard of a salt. Even the worst salt in the world can't be at 20 DKH. If you did not dose anything and you're at 20 DKH with just your salt, then you need to throw that salt in the trash. But I'm assuming you overdosed. So whatever you're dosing, you need to stop doing that. You didn't really give me much information about the tank. I'm assuming if you have SPS, they're probably dead by now. So I'm going to assume you don't really have any coral in there. If you do, it's probably soft coral. And yeah, you need to either do water changes with a good salt to bring that down. Stop dosing if you're dosing, for sure. That's the only two methods I can give you. There's not really much you can do. That's not an environment for coral growth, I'll tell you that. Yeah, so whatever you did to get to 20 DKH, don't do that anymore. To do Fish of Hex Aquatics. Thinking about getting the CR612 calcium reactor from Geo's Reef and use it with my Apex. What other things do I need to get with that? All right, so you can check out my calcium reactor guide, which talks about the Geos. You can check that out. Just look up Fish of Hex calcium reactor. Watch that video, and then hit the thumbs up on that video. Appreciate that. And yeah, so you're going to need a regulator. So whatever works for you. I like to use the carbon doser regulator. You're going to need a CO2 tank. You need to get a I'm guessing you're going to use your main pH probe for your tank. So you're going to want to get a PM1 module, which has the pH probe, which you can connect to the Apex and then use the pH probe in the reactor so you can get the proper pH. And you're going to need media. I'll get calcium reactor media, magnesium media, and I think that's it. Yeah, watch my video on that and help you set it up. Moving down. Ah, shit, I got too far. Oh, we got another super chat here. I think it was a little while ago. When was that? When did that come through? TDS reads 1 on out. Do I need to change RD? Yes. Yeah, you should change it before it gets to 1. Because 1 TDS could lead to some bad things. I mean, a lot of people can deal with it, but 0 TDS is the goal. I know that sometimes I've kind of pushed it and had, out of 160 gallons, maybe the last 20 gallons had 1 or 2 TDS in it. It's not a huge deal. But you should definitely change it before it gets there. Rotating your color changing DI is something that I like to do. Let's see what I've got here. Let me get back up where I was. Travis, what fish has been with you the longest? The wrasse. Yeah. The yellow-eye coltang. I'm trying to think what other one I have. Those blue chromis, those damsels, man, had those freaking guys forever. But the wrasse, I think, is the oldest. Yeah. That's from the 125. Everybody else is new. Yeah. Yep. Everybody else is new. I'm pretty sure. I'm looking at the tank right now trying to figure if I missed anybody. No, I think that's it. Yawning. I will say that one of the main reasons why I am, or at least an additional reason why I'm removing all those colonies, is for that flamingo tang. That poor girl is getting beat up so bad from this tank. Her whole head gets shredded every day. She's breaking off huge chunks of colonies. She's just a bulldozer. So that's one of the reasons, on top of a few, of why I'm getting rid of all that coral. give her a little bit of swimming room, at least for a few months. The derogatory greeting is a veteran thing. I think that's how I greet. Yeah, it is. Definitely is. I think that's where I learned it. Okay, here we go. Next question, Mike. How do you quiet down a single pipe drain like the one you installed on a low boys client build you recently did for a client? I have the same style and can't seem to get a silent. Okay, so you got to put a hole in the top. You put the T in. So you said you had the same thing. You got to put a hole at the top, put a piece of air line tubing or whatever down into the PVC. What that's going to do is release the air, so you don't have the gurgling sound anymore. So that's what you want to do. All right, here we go. Follow up on the rock curing question. After curing, can the rock be dried and stored, or do I need to aquascape right away to fill the tank water? Okay, so after curing it, I mean, if you're not setting up the tank, I mean, if it depends. Okay, so depends on the rock you're getting and the purpose of curing it. If you're curing the rock, like if you have a bunch of Pucani and you just want it to be cleaner rock, then curing it, and then if you're not going to use it, then storing it is fine, okay? But if you're curing rock like Reef Saver and you want to set up your tank with cured rock ready to go, then there wouldn't be any reason to take that out and store it. So I would just aquascape it when it's done curing. I don't see any reason why you'd want to make any other changes with that. It's cured. It can stay out of the water for a few hours. I know mine was out for like 8 to 10 hours. There's no issues. Just let the tank run. I mean, all that beneficial bacteria is going to be deep inside the rock where it's not being exposed to air, and it's going to, seed it's going to seed the surface of the rock over time again. So we wouldn't really worry about that, but I wouldn't leave it out for multiple days. That's for sure. That drone video made me dizzy, or that six pack. I'll tell you, when I put on the FPV goggles for the first time, it was super weird. Just getting used to it now. I don't mind. I don't care. I like it now. You straight up sound like Carol. I never even seen that show. I've seen enough memes to know that I don't want to see the show. See how much hate I get for that. We got, all right, we're just going to do another like 10 minutes or so. If anybody wants to bullshit about anything, you got any other non-reef related questions, let me know. I gotta get some food here soon. So we get here. Does it matter how many corals you can add in your tank at one time? Yes, it does, depending on the coral. If it's soft corals, no, you can add however many you want. LPS, to a certain extent, you can add as many as you want, but you do still need to keep an eye on your alkalinity. But if you're adding a lot of SPS, your alkalinity is something you're going to have to pay attention to. Once it starts growing and establishing itself, you're going to get dips in elk, and that's something you're going to want to keep an eye on so it doesn't dip and kill the coral off. See what else we got here. How often do you feed your homemade fish food in your tank? Every single day, along with phytoplankton and amino acids. Yeah, I just did a video last week on my feeding and all that good stuff. You should check it out. Let's see what we got here. Oh, well, removing my so-called deep sandbag crash my tank. Was that video entry? I'm assuming it was. I was sent to, man, like freaking 6 different people sent me that video. 2 of them were via text and the other ones are email. I'm like, oh man, what we got going on here? So that was interesting. Yeah. So I'm going to prove Fish of Hex wrong with my tank that's full of soft corals and a couple SPS and a 1-inch sand bed. Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, get the hell out of here, fucking idiots. Trolls be trolling, but man, are they not good at it. At least if you're going to do it, at least be good at it. You're wasting your fucking breath. When are you going to do a photo video? I don't know what that means. What are you talking about? Like porn? I'm not doing that. Oh, no way. I don't know what you mean, man. Sorry. Phyto, maybe? Or you talking about that? Like the Phyto video that I was talking about previously? Maybe next week. I got to give it some time in the freezer, probably a week or so. Yeah, Phyto. Yeah, probably Phyto. I thought my first assumption was good, but I guess not. Phyto. Okay. Small hair algae issue. Tried Microbacter 7, max dose, no dice. Tried Vibrant, max dose, no dice, 40 gallons. Have hang on a skimmer, algae, scrubber, EHAM Pro 425 or 4250 canister. Any ideas? Yeah. Take your canister filter and get rid of any media inside of that thing. Anything to catch Like if you got sponges and shit like that, get rid of it. Just fill it up with rock if you want to use a canister filter. They are nitrate factories for a reason. If you have stuff in there that can collect detritus, you're going to have a problem. If you just have like rubble rock and stuff through there, it's not going to be such a big issue. It's going to help with beneficial, bacteria and, that good stuff. But yeah, if you got pads and shit in there, get rid of it. Get rid of all that. You said you have a hang in the back skimmer. You didn't say what one you have. Algae scrubber. Okay. Yeah, you got to get your nutrients down. You got to find the source. So are you feeding too much? Is it your canister filter? Is it your rock? I mean, you got to find the source before you can get rid of any algae, before you can. That's the one thing they don't tell you. When people are trying to sell you these products that get rid of algae, quote unquote, they don't tell you that you need to do other things. You can't just rely on a chemical to fix your problems. It's not going to work. You can't do it. You got to find the source of the nutrients, either your feeding, your rock, your canister filter. You're not doing enough water changes. Find the source. Maybe your water is dirty. Maybe your salt's junk. I don't know. I mean, there's so many different factors involved, but you got to find the source for the excess nutrients. Fix the problem. Forget about the bacteria and the vibrant, all that crap. I mean, there's no reason to do anything like that. And yeah, you'll be fine. Just go from there. Appreciate everybody becoming a member. Appreciate that stuff. Really, really do. So yeah, find the source. You'll be good to go. Off to watch Dr. Doolittle with my daughter later. Everyone, hey, see you later, man. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Let's see what we got going on here. What's your opinion on using a biopellet reactor in a skimmer versus well-maintained refugium with Chaeto? All right, so a biopellet reactor is good if you are struggling with high nitrates. So maybe you are feeding a lot because you have a lot of fish in there. Maybe you're overstocked on fish. Maybe you got some rock that's a little old, it's a little dirty. Using a biopellet reactor is good for lowering nitrates and nitrates only. It does lower, I guess there's a percentage that I read that it does lower a really, really low percent of phosphates, but it's nothing that you're even going to test for. So the biopellet reactor is good if you're trying to get the nitrates down. But I do recommend more of a natural approach with the Chaeto. The Chaeto is going to take care of nitrates and phosphates. It's going to be good. You can sell it. You can give it to your fish store. You can trade it to buddies. It's good to grow, and it naturally removes it and removes it pretty quickly. Using the skimmer, if you have the biopellet reactor, usually you take the output of the biopellet reactor, having it, go into the input of the skimmer, which helps, remove that extra bacteria and stuff like that. Thing with a biopellet reactor, I like them to a certain extent if you are struggling with nitrates. But then again, it kind of goes back to the previous question I just answered. If you have elevated nutrients and you're forced to go to a biopellet reactor, why do you have those nutrients? For me, in the 125, I just had too many fish. That was simple. I had too many fish in a small tank. I fed a lot, so I had excess nitrates, so I had a biopellet reactor. And I also had a refugium. I did both, and a skimmer. So shows you how much I was feeding. I mean, lessons learned, I suppose. But yeah. Whatever you want to do. Personally, if you're dealing with high nutrients, figure out the source, and then you won't even have to need any of that stuff. Just have the refugium run in the background with your skimmer, and you're gonna be good. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so I got to the reaction to the 20 DKH. What are we at? 806 here, and we are at. So I'm about 10 minutes behind. Not bad. Are you checking par, and what meter do you use? I use the Senai Reef, which is technically a par meter. It gives me a rough idea. I'm not looking for exacts. I'm looking for rough estimates. Yeah. Hey, yo, you gonna eat that? What? I don't know what that refers to, but I don't know. Don't listen to this guy. Don't do 100% water change if you have 20 DKH, especially if you have coral in there, which I don't know if you do, but don't listen to this guy. Just look at his profile picture with that shit-eating grin. You think he's giving you good information? I think so, man. What is the best way to get rid of brown hair algae? Thanks. See previous answer. Speaking of calcium reactor media, anyone find anything about Reborn? Now, I haven't heard anything. I've had people sending me links to different websites that have it, and then they're offering me to send boxes of this stuff. I just kind of moved on. I have a little bit left here, and I'm just moving on to other sources. I mean, it is what it is. Okay, what do you mean by rotating the DI resin? Okay, so if you run a dual DI resin, what I like to do is the first one is usually going to go bad first. So if it's a dual DI, the first one's going to go bad before the second one. So what happens is once the first one is dead, you take the second one, rotate it to the first position, and then you fill up the first one with new resin and put it in the second position. That's what I talk about when I rotate it. It just helps use it up so you're not having the same one sitting there over and over again. You're not just replacing the first one. So that's what I meant by rotating it. Let's see, we're doing like 10 minutes or so. Oh man, I'm not sure what they meant by that. All right. Random question. What kind type 3D printers do you use? I use Ender 3 Pros with a whole shit ton of upgrades to make them better, more efficient, and yeah. So we've got a new member. Cool. All right, so I guess we can bullshit for a little bit here. Anybody got any random questions you want to ask before I head out? Because we're kind of at the bottom. I finally caught up. I skipped over the stuff that Scott was answering, all that. I figured you didn't need to hear the answer twice. Let me know if you guys don't want me doing that. If you guys are answering each other's questions, I don't know if it's appropriate to answer them again or just let them, kind of do their thing. So let me know about that. Anyway, so this week, video-wise, we're going to be doing, tomorrow will be the filter sock holder. I'll show you guys that because I got to clean out the 40-gallon. I already told you guys about what happened to the low boy. I broke that. And yeah, so I'm not doing a video on that. I figured I'd just tell you guys during the live stream. I really wasn't in the mood to do a video on that tank. I was pretty irritated because I just got done adding a bunch of coral to it, and then I broke the damn thing, and I was like, "You are kidding." Well, but it didn't leak though, which was really nice. I mean, it was cracked all the way through the back from the bulkhead, and it didn't leak. What's the extra content? Now, I usually upload it. Well, I have in the past upload an extra video for my members for extra content, or I do extra pictures, things that I don't post anywhere else. Like we got garden videos, we'll drone videos, we'll have stuff in the fish room, be random. But the right now, with the amount of orders that are coming in, and me only shipping 2 days a week, it's very difficult to get everything done. Like video wise, I kind of have to really plan out several days in advance to even get a video done. It's not as easy as I would like it to be. So yeah, Mondays, unless I get it done on Sunday or I do it really early, that's going to be, at least until this whole virus thing is, over and I'm back to normal shipping. It's just very difficult to get anything done those days. Yeah, if I wish you guys could see everything that goes on here, because it is, it's crazy, man. Like when we get off this live stream, I'm gonna go work on that printer for God knows how long to get that thing up and running, because I have orders, trying to get out tomorrow. But yeah, so if you guys are ordering 3D printed stuff, understand there is a little bit of a delay. There is you might get an email from me saying that I'm out of a particular color that you've ordered. I mean, I've had that happen a couple times this week, because when you guys put the orders in, I might have a full reel of filament, and then there's so many orders backed up for that particular color that by the time I get to yours, it might not be there. So just understand that you can, accept that kind of adjustment. Just, it's just one of those things that's going to happen. So everybody I've talked to that said that I had to change the color, that wasn't really a problem. It's just, not much I can do about that. Yeah, so you guys can use the code Q&A 12, number 12 right there, or just 12 for 10% off. And that's good until midnight tonight only. And then I'm going to, it's done. So, but what was the question then, guys? Do you shave your arm hair for corals? No, I don't. I don't really have a lot of hair in my arms. I guess, I got some peach fuzz. I'm not like I'm wearing a sweater or anything, but no, I don't do that. Let's see what we got here. A couple more questions. Who did you go through to buy your 5-inch drone build? And would you buy the Tiny Hawk 2 again, or just save your money? Okay, so the Tiny Hawk 2 is great. The Tiny Hawk 2 race. So let me back up. I have the Tiny Hawk 2, the white one for indoors, the indoor one, a little mini quad 1S. And then I have the Tiny Hawk. Well, I had the Tiny Hawk 2 race, or race 2, which is a 2S battery. And that was great. I already had 2 of them. I'm not going to buy another one unless I feel like blowing another $120. But I think that I've killed 2 of them in less than a month. So that's $240 that I've killed. So I'm probably not going to do that again. So when it comes to when I came to this 5S, this 5-inch I just bought, I got it off Amazon, but it's Emax. It's 4S to 6S compatible. I got the 2400K motors, and I'm going to run 4S on it for now. I'm not really into the whole 6S right now. I'm still new to this. It's only been a few months, so I'm not trying to go crazy here. But building wise, I got to get I can do a video on it later on, but there's a couple websites that I go through to get the flight controllers and the base and all sorts of stuff, motors, props, all that. So there's 2 different sites that I like to go to, and yeah, I like the one where I can put the GoPro on it. I know this Emax, the Pro, the one I just picked up that will be here soon. It says it can hold a GoPro, but I don't know. It doesn't. It has an area, but I have to 3D print something to get it to fit efficiently. But yeah, so yeah, there will be extra footage. There will be things that I'll do with the drones, and it's kind of just a side hobby that I like to mess around with. I try to keep myself busy. I know that work keeps me busy here, and there's always something to do, but sometimes you just need to step the heck away. Like, I'll play some video games. I started playing WoW again the other day, just messing around with that, with the Guardian Druid. Sometimes you need to escape, just a little bit, even if it's only for a couple hours or even just 45 minutes to go out and fly around. Just taking a break is good for your mental health for sure. Yeah, so I just, even though this is a hobby, but it's also a job, it's not really a hobby anymore. And I hate to admit it, but YouTube's a job. This is a job. I didn't think it was going to turn into that, but it is. I'm not mad about it, but yeah, it's not a hobby. I don't really enjoy it anymore. And I don't like to say that, but I'm not really getting very much joy from the reefing hobby at this point. I guess because I look at it differently now, which is, so if you want the hobby for what it is and you just want to enjoy it for the sake of the hobby and just keep that, don't turn it into a business. It's it ruins it for you. It really does. I mean, I'm going in there this week and next week, and I'm just taking out 6 or 7 colonies from the 300. It's going to look like crap forever, but I'm doing it for business sake, so I can grow more acros in different places, and I can eventually, make more money. So there's other reasons, but that's one of the main reasons. So yeah, kind of went off on that. My bad. Let's see what we got here. Rogue Aquariums, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that. Keep up the good work. Thank you. But I think I'm gonna head out. What are we, an hour and a half in? I would talk longer, but let's see. We got a question here. So we got new to the channel. Anyone help with torches, A-cans? I guess you meant A-cans. Leathers are great. Can't keep a stick over a month. Yeah, I mean, if you're not keeping sticks, your water parameters are probably not where they should be, Ronnie. I mean, if you got to start with the soft corals, work yourself up to the torches and stuff like that. But when an SPS, really alkalinity is key, keeping your nutrients key. So if you got the good light, if you got the right light or par between 250 350, it's good for SPS. If your alkalinity is stable, that means it's not going from 7 to 9 every single day. It's staying to like 8 or even just 9, but just staying stable. And then making sure your nutrients, you're not bottoming out, you're not zero, or vice versa. Make sure you don't have a ton of algae everywhere. Those are 3 main factors for helping SPS grow and to get started with them. So I look into that to get started. But yeah, moving on out. I think that's about it, guys. So if you like this video or this live stream, make sure you give it a thumbs up on your way out, and don't forget to check the website. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, sometime tomorrow, with a video. So yeah, appreciate everybody who came out. Caffeine did not kick in. Super exhausted. You could probably tell with me stuttering over here, repeating myself. But yeah, it's just one of those days, man. Anyways, that's it, guys. I will see you later. All right, peace.